Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, here we go. It's Super Bowl week, and we're joined in the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Allan Bell, the AB3. AB, hello, good morning. How are you?
Hey, you know what? First off, I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you having me back. And I can tell you that this is finally normalcy, not the Super Bowl. Tennessee is back under NCAA investigation. That's where we live.
Wow, it feels like home. It really feels comforting.
It is home. This is the only land I do feel comfortable in when we're under direct investigation.
How long did they go in between investigations, or are they overlapping now?
Right. We just finished up one where we were paying, players cash in McDonald's bags to go 5 and 7. So yeah, there you go.
That was awesome. And then and then we get this one. This is and they're really they're really going with the line of, hey, everybody else is doing this, so why are you yelling at us? But if I think an NCAA investigation, I'm like, yeah, let's go to Tennessee first.
Yeah. We're like that kid in the 70s, that had like a leather jacket and a Trans Am. Like, we're out of excuses. You know what we're doing. Like, that's all we got. That's all we got left.
All right, so let's start here, AB, with the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think in order to do this, and correct me if I'm wrong, like if you want to throw in a bunch of stuff on the Super Bowl, which it is always one of the fun parts about it. Then you have to come up with in your head an idea of how you think the game is going to go. What kind of game are we going to be playing? And then you could start to make bets based on that idea. Is that sound logic?
Oh, I love it. Honestly, we joke around about everything. Like, joking aside, that's exactly how you want to go about betting. You want to tree branch this thing, right? Like, if you were standing at a whiteboard and exactly what you just said, it's like, all right, start with final score, right?
Yeah.
2 wins, give me the 2 scores, right? And then you start going out from that, right? So how many touchdowns? If it's 24-21, all right, 3 touchdowns each. So now let's start to pick apart. That's absolute, very clear and good logic to be using. And if you ask me, I think that it's going to be a game where both teams find themselves wanting to kind of play old school ball, control the clock, keep the other offense off the field, run the football, right? But with both of these teams, like, those plans work until somebody blows it up, right? And, Mahomes throws, a 70-yard TD pass, or, McCaffrey goes for a 60-yard TD run. And then you just start going.
Yep.
So, I think that we're going to see points in the first half. Second half, we'll see about that. But I think in the first half, neither team is going to want to play from behind. So once the first team scores, it's game on.
No doubt. I think that's a good way to start. And like you said, just sort of branch off of there. So I was looking at, by the way, I haven't seen on FanDuel, which I'm looking at, I haven't seen the total punts prop yet pop up.
Yeah.
But I have seen the results of the first punt, whether it's going to be a fair catch or not. This is the beautiful thing about the Super Bowl. If you can think it, if you can think of a situation that you can imagine happening in a football game, you can actually cash in on that idea during the Super Bowl. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you can. All right. So first on the punts prop. So it opened at 8.5, and it's at DraftKings. I think it's the only one that I've seen so far, but they'll all have it.
Oh yeah.
So it opened up at 8.5, and it's dropped to 7.5 at plus 110. And I'll tell you, over the last decade of Super Bowls, they average right at 8.5, almost 9 punts per game.
I remember, was it last year or 2 years ago we hit that early in the third quarter? I was like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. I think, yeah, it was just out of control. And going off of that, all right. So using your logic with that, you can also bet, opening drive score for each team. right? So it's like, all right, does either team score on their opening drive? Yes or no? And if you bet both of them do, it's some crazy number. You know what I mean? But like, you could bet that both of them don't, and I think it's around even money or so. So, like, yeah, dude, like you said, man, like anything that you could think of game script wise, absolutely.
So it's all about the wacky stuff, but then there's also like, the things that are kind of, going to happen in a given football game. One thing that is definitely going to happen in a 49ers football game is that Christian McCaffrey is going to score a touchdown. Now he's minus 220 right now, but if you pair him in the Super Bowl, he's going to score a touchdown. It's a guarantee. But if you pair him up with Travis Kelce, who, I don't know, I like his chances to score a touchdown too, you could get plus 189. Like we've had some odd years in the Super Bowl where it's like rando dudes, like third string tight ends, fullbacks score touchdowns, and people have cashed in on that stuff. But I think with these two teams, I mean, obviously, there's McCaffrey. He's basically going to score. And then you saw how the AFC Championship game went. Like Kelce he's their guy. He's their weapon. Like I think the Stars will. I guess I don't have any definite like logic or reasoning behind this, but like it feels like a situation where you would want to back the Stars.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. So all right, so use and you're right on McCaffrey because that dude scores a touchdown in every game of his life, right? Yep. But yeah, I mean, look, the playoffs and the Super Bowl are different than the regular season, and what I mean by that is, yeah, like the star players get the work because those are the guys that are trusted, and when you have your back against the wall, so to say, and it's win in advance or it's over, you go to people that you trust. You know what I mean? That's why we've seen, it gives Kelce credit. I mean, his game has completely changed, after the Dolphins game. But yeah, man, like I'm with you. Like that type of logic, yeah, like that plays out like 95% of the time. So yeah, smart call there.
Okay, what about let's just do the game itself here real quick. I think if I was reading you right last week, I think you were a lean on the Chiefs. We're 5 days out at this point. Where are we at right now? Chiefs plus 2.5.
Yeah, Chiefs plus 2.5. Like, it is worth the price of admission for me that I'm going to bet the Chiefs with the points. If they don't cover, fine. I am absolutely fine with losing that bet. Going in, understand it. But there's no way in hell I'm betting against them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm just not going to do it. If it loses, fine. In my head, I've already cleared that, whatever. But I'm not betting against it. So, yeah, man, I'm right there.
So here's the thing that's going to happen. I would imagine, and most of the people that I've talked to over the last week or so, they think the same thing as us, right? And usually when that happens, it kind of goes it goes the other way. So there's like, I agree with you. The logic is completely sound. I wouldn't dare bet against Patrick Mahomes, and that's just basically a non-starter for me right now. But they're underdogs in the game, but they're going to have more bets on their side, which is an interesting sort of balance in the Super Bowl.
It is, man. And use that in your favor. All right, you can kind of hedge yourself while also giving yourself an opportunity to hit all of them. And what I mean by that is this. So let's just say me and you, like, we are betting together, okay? And we're both taking the Chiefs plus 2.5. All right, now when we go to look at props, two of them that we would want to pay attention to. All right, Patrick Mahomes passing attempts play the over, because if they win and win big, he probably had a big day. But if they lose, he's absolutely going to be playing from behind and throwing all game.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, okay, well, we can hedge ourselves, but also could hit both. Same thing with completion. I think his completions numbers at 25.5. All right, same deal. If the Chiefs win, he probably hits that number. If they don't, and they're playing from behind, again, you're going to stop running the football as much. You see what I'm saying? So, there are ways to play and hedge yourself with these things. Brock Purdy touchdown passes, right? Like
1.5.
We just spoke. We spoke with McCaffrey, but McCaffrey catches passes too. So yeah, man, like there's all kinds of ways to play the game correct.
Did you see Brock Purdy running around in the NFC Championship game? His current rushing yards prop is 12.5.
Did you know that's the most bet prop at BetMGM?
That makes me scared of it.
I know. And the funny thing is this: it's the most bet prop, and it went from 11.5 to 12.5. Like it didn't take like a huge jump, but it's not a bad play. Patrick Mahomes rushing attempts, that number is at 4.5.
Yeah.
All right. Like that could play out in any game scenario. And number two, remember this, kneel downs count as rushing attempts as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the scary part, is that kneel downs are rushing attempts and they're also rushing yards. So if you have a quarterback that's kneeling down 3 times, like you're losing 3 yards.
Oh yeah.
One.
Oh, I've heard some really good horror stories over the years about losing on the Super Bowl
stories.
kneel down. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mahomes takes those deep ones too. Like
he does. He scoots way back. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
like
what do you?
Brady would only do like 1 yard. Mahomes is 6 yards deep. You're like, oh God.
What do you have? Do you have anything sort of laid out for yourself? Are you still like, it sounds like you've dug into, basically all of this at this point. Is there anything you want to pass along and say, this is kind of what I'm on this weekend?
Yeah. So, kind of what you were just talking about with McCaffrey and Kelsey, like that parlay, putting it together. You could play both teams to score. All right. And you could kind of set the number where you want it. I've got it, both teams to score 17 plus points. And I've also got it both teams to score 20 plus points. So yeah, man, like you can play those separately at good money. I think 20 plus points is like plus 110 or something like that. Or you could take the 17 and parlay that with a Kelsey TD or a McCaffrey and get huge numbers. Yeah. So the both teams to score, love those plays.
Hey, one side non-Super Bowl thing that we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. We're all following the Caitlin Clark situation. All right.
Yep.
And so one of the things that we've been watching for is like, okay, when she's going to set it, and they play in Lincoln on Sunday, and I thought to myself, okay, I kind of know what Caitlin Clark's all about. I know that she's going to go over her scoring average, and I know that she really likes playing basketball at Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln. And now that it's played itself out, so they have one game left before Super Bowl Sunday when they play at Nebraska at noon. And so for her to set the record, the game tomorrow isn't even on the board because I think she needs 60 plus or whatever. But the game at Nebraska on Sunday is minus 125, and then the next game after that is minus 105. I've been it was now, Josh, what was that number at like 2 weeks ago when we talked about this? Like in the 700s, plus 700 or something like that.
Something around there, yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite calls because I'm like, yeah, it's just all lining up perfectly. And
it is.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that's what's happening.
Dude, I was just about to say, like, as a show, we're all playing that. I'm literally going to go bet that right now as soon as we get off the phone because I'm with you. And you're right. You said that game is Sunday, right?
Sunday. It's Sunday at noon before the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me say, Clark, awesome. Like, that's the best kind of teammate you could have. She's got some of that J.J. Watt in her. Where it's like, you know what? I'm going to take the stage from you. I'm going to do it. I think you're exactly right, man. We're betting that. All of us together, we're all in.
It's currently the favorite where I'm looking. So we'll, you got to pay a little bit in. But if you could have got on it last week or 2 weeks ago, you would have been in pretty good shape by this point. That'll be fun. Allan, we appreciate it as always, man. Enjoy the Super. Oh, by the way, we didn't ask you what your food situation is going to be like. What's the setup this year?
Oh yeah. So you know what? Excited for it. It's going to be tacos. That's what we're going with. Easy to make. You can do it. Chicken, beef, chorizo. If you want to go south of the border there, that's what we're going to do. We're going tacos. What about you?
Good move. I don't have a plan yet because I'll be getting back from this basketball game. But I've told people this week, like I don't really love the idea of the Super Bowl party. I'm kind of a watch the game, lock in by myself type of guy. So I don't know, that obviously makes me less fun. But yeah, maybe we'll get some wings or something like that. Something easy.
Dude, wings are always the way to go. And I'm with you. I'm not the big Super Bowl part. Like, I want to actually watch the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
I'm with you on that, 100%.
All right, AB, enjoy. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the week, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, sounds good, brother. Be good, man. Thank you.
Allan Bell of the AB3. You can check out the daily stuff coming out of AB on YouTube. Chopping it up with the coach, Jonathan Coachman, the coach, and Schwab, the coach, the Schwab, the Allen.
And they're all going to take our Caitlin Clark betting advice.